Welcome to another episode of Red Reviews. Kind of a low-key weekend. This weekend nothing came out in theaters really, so like I said at the end of my last video, we'll pick 4 or 5 different topics. You see them there in the intro of the video. We'll pick 4 or 5 of those topics and that happened in the past week, and then we'll kind of talk about them for a few minutes. Just kind of recap what went on that you may not know if you're not into the movie world as much as other people. So let's get right into it. This week, actually last Sunday, now marking 1 week, on February 14th, happy Valentine's Day, we got our spoilerish trailer for Ghostbusters. I don't even want to call it a trailer. What it was is it was a teaser announcement for a trailer. A trailer itself is an announcement for a movie, so to release something that is teasing a trailer, which is an announcement for the movie, an announcement for an announcement is what it boiled down to. And you want to talk about spoilers. We had a quick shot of some police cars coming around the corner, a crowd running around, and what looked to be military or National Guard of some kind, pointing their guns at something, intercut with the words, "Who you gonna call?" And that was it. And I believe March 3rd is what I want to say, the first Thursday in March is when we'll get the official trailer. And it'll be nice just to see some real footage. We've seen some pictures. We've seen more from Lego toy releases about this movie than we actually have full-on footage. And this movie needs to, I think, get their marketing in gear. Maybe take some cues from Deadpool, because this movie's met with a lot of backlash lately, even since it was first announced, not even lately, since its first inception, that it was going to break away from the main story of Ghostbusters. It's a whole new reboot, a whole female cast. The female cast doesn't bother me. I'm anxious to see what these ladies do. They're funny in their own rights. The only thing that I would change that has bugged me so far, other than not seeing any footage at all, is that we do know that all of, or at least 90% of the original cast is going to come back and make a cameo. They've said that. But there are going to be cameo characters and have nothing to do with the old original movies, because this is a brand new story, a whole reboot. We're supposed to pretend like the original ones didn't exist. And I feel like it would serve the story better, at least integrating or easing us into a new franchise of Ghostbusters, that if you're going to have Bill Murray come back, instead of just Bill Murray cameo number 2, if he was Peter Venkman in some kind, because that's what we're going to think when we see him, at least people from my age who love Ghostbusters. I think when we see the original cast on screen, we're just going to be like, well, that's Peter Venkman. Don't throw him in there for the sake of that you have to throw him in there because it's a cameo, but like integrate, Dan Aykroyd and Sigourney Weaver as their old characters, and then you can link it together and kind of make it Ghostbusters pseudo Ghostbusters 3. And I think that would have served it a whole lot better, kind of as we integrate into this new Ghostbuster world. Up next, some James Bond news this week. I'm a huge James Bond fan, so usually if there's any James Bond news, I'm going to bring it up. Daniel Craig, as we know at the end of Spectre, in different interviews, he was not all that excited about potentially coming back to reprise the role of James Bond, even though he's contractually obligated to come back as James Bond. But he's signed on to do a TV series that appears like it would conflict with the shooting of the next one as pre-production. They wanted to get rolling on that because they want to stick to their every 2-year schedule, where so we had Spectre last year, and then 2017, in November, we would get the 25th James Bond installment. So now 2 options have been posed, and I don't know if I particularly like either one of them. We'll just have to see how everything pans out. But option 1 would be to push the next one back to 2018, and we all hate having to wait. We feel like we waited so long. I like the 2-year schedule. They used to do that back through the Roger Moore era, and they got away from that here when they had to move from Pierce Brosnan to Daniel Craig. And now it just feels like now that we finally got back on track with every 2 years, from Quantum to Skyfall to Spectre, we finally, everything's right back where it needs to be, and then here we go, we're going to push it back. Now we're going to have an extended gap, and who knows. Of course, the other one is, well, we recast, and that always presents problems when it comes to James Bond. As no matter who you pick, Daniel Craig is arguably one of the best James Bonds, if you ask a poll of everyone. They love James Bond. He brings in more box office revenue than any other Bond before him, so they don't want to move on without him, but eventually it's a discussion worth having, because he will not be able to do it forever, and he will need to be recast. And there's, Idris Elba, for some reason, has been a big push for him, and I have nothing against Idris Elba. I just I don't think he's James Bond. I think if you want to make a spy franchise and put him as the main character, then I'm all for it. I'll probably watch it. I'll probably love it. But I'm going to fight against whoever they cast, as we do every time with the new James Bond. And they did it when we transitioned from Sean Connery to Roger Moore. Of course, I wasn't around, but that's what I hear anyways. Every time, there's a new Bond, when Pierce Brosnan takes over, when Daniel Craig takes over, there's something about them that doesn't fit the template, and everybody backlashes. Then the movie comes out, and then we're all relaxed, and we're eased, and we're okay with it. So whoever they do end up casting, they got a lot of work ahead of them, especially picking up where Daniel Craig left off. But eventually, we're going to have to recast James Bond. So those are our two options at this point. So, and I feel like either one will push it back to 2017 or 2018, pardon me, because 2017 was supposed to be the original release date. Whether we have to take the extra year to wait for Daniel Craig to return, or we have to take the extra year to find the right James Bond. Either way, it looks like we're probably not going to get that 2017 release for Bond 25. Up next, Episode 8, Star Wars. It began filming this week. I know I just complained about how I didn't enjoy the teaser announcement that Ghostbusters did for its upcoming film, but so Episode 8 released a little teaser, and basically it was just a few quick shots of Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, and it's basically the end of The Force Awakens. Spoilers if you haven't seen it. And it's just basically the couple seconds of him standing there on that Skull Island, and then the director says cut, and it says Episode 8 underway. So it looks like this new one is picking up exactly where Episode 7 left, which will be something new for the Star Wars franchise. There's always been almost at times significant time gaps between the movies, and so it's nice to see it's underway. It's nice as a Star Wars fan that at this point I wanted to bring it up because I wanted to let this sink in for movie fans and especially Star Wars fans. As here we are, The Force Awakens, wrapping up its theatrical run in other parts of the world. I believe it's April. We're going to be looking at getting it on DVD and Blu-ray, so we get that coming. In December, we have Rogue One coming, so everything that a movie has coming before it's released, so we're going to have all the toys, we have all the trailers, the TV spots. Rogue One, we don't know anything yet, so that's all coming down the pike. And now here we are getting an announcement that Episode 8 is filming. It's officially underway. So we got one movie wrapped up, coming out on DVD, Blu-ray. We got one in post-production, and all the release materials coming along for that this year. We're going to have a bunch of good stuff for Episode 8. We're going to know the title by the end of this year. We might even have a little bit of a teaser maybe at the end of Rogue One. Who knows? But it's just for a group of fans who a couple years ago, especially after the prequels, that we knew that we would never get another Star Wars movie. And now here we are. There's 3 simultaneously kind of in the works at the same time. So it's an exciting time to be a Star Wars fan. Not like they're slowing down at all. And then once, Episode 8 and Rogue One comes out, then we'll, start the whole process over again with the Han Solo standalone, and then Episode 9, and then so forth and so on with everything else that Disney has lined up past that. Up next, I want to talk about Batman vs. Superman. There is a lot of stories going around that this movie may not be as successful as Warner Bros. Hopes to be. Every studio, of course, wants the Force Awakens type of numbers. $1 billion around the world. They would love that. But I don't think Batman vs. Superman is going to hit, Star Wars Force Awakens kind of numbers. But I don't think the studio has anything to worry about because regardless of how the movie is critically, no matter what critics say about it, and there will be critics that bash on it, because there always are. No matter what movie it is, there's no such thing as a perfect movie, because film is subjective. But they have nothing to worry about. They've got a financial success on their hands. They got Batman and Superman meeting in the same movie for the first time ever. So no matter if the movie sucks or if the movie is incredible, financially it's going to be good. They're gonna make their money back. Their wallets are going to get fat. Now, will it be a critical success? That's a different story. Zack Snyder, the director, his movies always seem to divide fans. They're always mixed, whether it's Sucker Punch or 300 or Watchmen, or even Man of Steel. There's people that really, really love it, and there's people that really, really hate it. And I think that this movie, we've built it up so much that it won't please every aspect. It won't meet every expectation that we have. But it will still be a good movie, and even if it doesn't do as well as Warner Bros. Hopes it does, I don't think it's going to cause any major ripple effects. They are, they've pulled the trigger and they're full steam ahead. Wonder Woman is well into production. We've cast Shazam. That didn't come out to 2019, 2020. We knew who our Flash is. We knew who our Aquaman is. They're already begun pre-production, I'm sure, on the Justice League movie. So, it's all in at this point. So they might do a few tweaks after this to some characters, the Batman character, maybe the Lex Luthor character. If something doesn't play, there's still time to tweak it. They're still in their early stages of their cinematic universe development. But I think that, if this movie fails, they're not going to just pull Suicide Squad later from the shelf and just hide it away. I think that Warner Bros. Is all in. They're going to be right on the heels of Marvel, and I hope actually it is a critical as well as financial success. Because if it's a critical success, that's when you're going to get the repeat viewings, and that does help your box office numbers. Just look at Episode 8. Finally, I wanted to do a quick look ahead of 2016. I kind of mentioned a lot of this in my videos, so it'll just be a couple name drops here and there, because we do get caught up a lot in the comic book world of what's coming out. So we do have Doctor Strange. We haven't seen a lot. We've seen what he looks like as Doctor Strange, but don't forget that's coming out. Of course, we got Rogue One, Star Wars story coming out, and Batman, Superman, Civil War. So we got all those fun tent poles, but don't forget, like, there's the lesser known ones. We got some fun sequels in there. We got London Has Fallen coming up. I'm going to be reviewing that. I believe it comes out in 2 weeks. The Cloverfield pseudo sequel, The Blood Relative, that'll be coming out. So that'll be an interesting one to watch for. Matt Damon's back as Jason Bourne. The Angry Birds movie looks kind of fun. Independence Day 2 or Independence Day Resurgence, whatever title we're going with. So, don't get all hung up on the comic book movies all the time. There's some big name movies. There's some exciting things coming out. Ghostbusters, of course, is coming out, and so it's gonna be a packed year. It's gonna be a fun year. It seems like Hollywood, especially in the last couple of years, they have been outdoing themselves every single year, and you can see that in the numbers if you ever do some fun numbers looking at every year box office. Total amounts, they've been increasing every year. That's because they've been giving us good and fun movies, and I think they finally realized if they take the time to make some good, fun movies, that we want to go out and watch them. So that'll do it for this episode of Red Reviews, guys. Kind of the same thing next week. I don't think anything major is coming out, so we'll probably just do a little quick recap of the week. London Has Fallen is coming out in 2 weeks, so I'll get a review for that when the movie hits theaters. And one other thing, if you were tired of just seeing solo me, there are some things in the works where I'm going to have kind of a co-host come in once in a while. He's a good buddy of mine. He'll also be helping me do some behind-the-scenes stuff. He's a big gamer, so we're going to be kind of exploring, reviewing games, so he'll be handling that front, where I'll just kind of focus on the movie aspect of things. But for some reviews, and especially ones like this, we'll team up and get a good dialogue going back and forth. He had some obligations, so he couldn't make it today. So I decided to shoot this one solo. He was supposed to be here, but we'll get all that worked out, and it'll be fun, and I'm excited to go on this adventure with you guys. Go ahead, click like, subscribe, and we will continue this adventure together. Until next time, I'm Red Reviews, guys. Bye.